I put my trust in you, what will you do? Will you just step back? Will you duck it out?
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. So today I want to do something a little different on my channel. Instead of me explaining what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you guys a very juicy true crime story today. Today we're going to be talking about Miss Candy Montgomery. She is the epiphany of if playing in my face was a person. Candy Montgomery was born November 15th, 1949. She was a Scorpio, if anybody wanted to know. In the early 80s, she was a devoted housewife everybody wanted to be. She was the it girl at that time. She had a husband, the house, the kids, the church, everything everyone strived for at the time. But this messy love triangle she created changed everything. She grew up in a military home and moved around very often. As a child, she was very charming, outgoing, and she knew exactly what she wanted. Before she finished high school, she decided to move out. She liked being independent, but Miss Thing wanted to be taken care of. She wanted to secure her bag with a wealthy husband. On her search of her husband, nobody was really reaching her standards. Some were cute, some was fun, but nevertheless, they didn't have the funds. So they didn't have potential that she wanted. Miss Thing wanted to be a housewife. When she met Pat Montgomery at a electrical company as a secretary, she wasn't really attracted to him like that. And the funds wasn't hidden, but she saw potential in him. At the time, he made $70K a year. In today's time, girl, that was equivalent to $340K a year. So he was making that money, honey. Pat became very smitten with Candy. They eventually become married and had 2 children together. Y'all, I done forgot to tell y'all where we were in the story. We were in Why, Texas. Why lie? That's crazy. Anyways, that's perfect for the story. But y'all, I'm about to tell y'all a little bit about the Gore family. Let me set the scene. Let me set y'all the scene. They had just moved into town. They really didn't know anybody. And so they started going to this church. And that's how they met the Montgomery family. Betty Gore was born January 9th, 1950. She was a Capricorn. She was a devoted wife, a wonderful middle school teacher. Honestly, through my research, I couldn't tell if she was a middle school teacher or an elementary school teacher. She was a school teacher, y'all. And she was married to Alan. We don't fuck with Alan. Since the families became very close, they did church gatherings together, family activities together, and even their kids became very close as well. Pat and Betty, they were more of the introverts in their relationships, while Candy and Alan were the extroverts. The church had a volleyball team that met up every week, and Candy and Alan would be there. Y'all should already know where this shit is going. So their relationship grew, and Candy was feeling Alan. Like, she was really feeling the boy. Look, I ain't trying to cast judgment or nothing like that, but Alan, like, he wasn't fine. Like, he wasn't like a Johnny Depp or a Michael B. Jordan, like somebody who take their breath away. Like, he wasn't nothing like that. Like, he was just like a basic, you know what? We're not even gonna go there. She grew the courage one night after a volleyball meet. After everyone left, she got in the passenger seat of Alan's car and basically told him he was cute, he was fine, she was feeling him, and that she wanted to see what was in them drawers. Like, she was straight up just like that. Like, Miss Thing was just directly and to the point. Y'all, let's not forget that her and Betty are, like, cool. Best friends even. And she's trying to mess with this girl's husband. Someone should go beat her ass, honestly. It tastes like candy. I can feel it when you won't. Even when you don't, it takes over me. In all seriousness, y'all, like, I laugh when I'm very uncomfortable. So, anyway, let's get back to the story. Alan became very hesitant and told Candy he wasn't interested and that he loved his wife. After a few weeks after contemplating and fantasizing, Alan said yes to the affair. So Candy made some rules for the affair. Number 1, no strings attached. Number 2, no falling in love. And number 3, they can pull the plug at any point. Be fucking for real. Like, was she dead ass? I guess so. So Alan and Candy started to make this into a routine type of thing. Like, so they would go out of town so they asses don't get caught, and they started giving gifts to each other and having picnic dates in the hotel. Y'all, are they being fucking for real right now? Like, yo, be so serious with yourself. Like, this is so out of line. Y'all, when I discovered this story last year, with the show that came out on Hulu. It's called Candy, if you would like to watch. HBO Max just dropped, I think, a show today about it too. I'm gonna watch that as well, because honestly, when I first saw this story, like, while I was watching it, I had to like double check and make sure this shit was real life. I didn't believe this was based on a true story, because ain't no way, right? It definitely was. This is real. Fast forward, Betty gets pregnant with their second child. And you want to know what fucking Candy did? Do y'all really want to know? Do y'all really want to know? Like, I'm flabbergasted. These words are about to, like, pop out of my mouth. Candy then hosted a baby shower for Betty while Alan was still blowing her back out. I can't make this shit up. Like, I really can't make this shit up. Candy is starting to get way too comfortable for me. Like, you supposed to be the side chick. Like, sometimes, like, you gotta separate yourself. Like, I feel like, for the respect of Betty, like, Betty didn't do nothing to you, girl. Like, y'all were friends. Like, at least separate yourself. I don't know, bro. Like, cheating is not cool, but cheating with your best friend's husband? Come on, bro. Like, be very dead ass. And like, it's not like they like quit it and did it one time. Like, they did this multiple times over months. Like, they started to like fall in love with each other. Like, this shit is crazy. Alan and Betty started to go to marriage counseling, and Alan started to fall back in love with Betty, so he cut ties with Candy, which he should have never got enticed anyway, because that's your best friend's wife. Be for real. Like, you still ain't shit. And Alan, go to hell. Respectfully, actually disrespectfully, because you crossed the line, bro. Like, you foul. You ain't shit. Okay, let's keep going. On June 13th, 1980, let me give you all like a time capsule of like where we were back in that day. Like, the iconic Friday the 13th had just dropped. Like, it was the hottest horror movie going on at that time. Y'all already know. But Candy had Betty's oldest daughter because she wanted to give Betty a break. She wanted to be a good friend. Like, during this time, Candy, like, since her and Alan been separated, she felt like she could start being a better friend to Betty. Girl, you should have been a good friend. Betty was good to you, honey. Like, go to hell. Like, come on. Alan was on a business trip, and Betty wasn't really happy about it. She struggled with postpartum depression. She just wanted Alan to be home more, but Alan couldn't find a way not to go on this business trip. They had also had an argument because Betty thought she was pregnant again, and the conversation had to be tabled. Like, I felt like Alan should have validated her a little bit more. Like, at least be a good husband, as you should. Like, come on. Like, I understand, like, back in the day, they really didn't understand how severe postpartum depression was, but I felt like Alan could have just better. You know, he could have done better in that situation. Candy called Betty that morning and asked her if her daughter could stay another night because she wanted to take the kids swimming, but Betty's daughter didn't have a bathing suit, so Candy planned on going over there and picking it up. Later on that day, Alan tried to call Betty, but she wasn't answering. Call after call, Alan became very worried. Alan called a neighbor to check up on Betty, and the neighbor told Alan that Betty didn't answer the door. So Alan was like, boy, if you don't go back over there. So the neighbor went inside the house and discovered that Betty's baby was crying, and that the baby has been crying for so long that her voice became hoarse, and her diaper hasn't been changed in hours. The neighbor proceeded to search the house and went inside the utility room and discovered Betty's body. It was like a scary movie scene, and blood was everywhere, and that the neighbor called the police. Alan called the house again, and the police picked it up and told Alan the news that they found Betty dead. Alan proceeded to tell the police where his whereabouts was that day and that he often traveled for work. The police were shocked that Alan was not emotional about finding out that his wife died. He was more worried about telling them like where his whereabouts were. Like, that's suspicious. Police discovered a bloody shoe print, a bloody fingerprint, and that someone tried to clean up the scene but gave up and cleaned themselves up on the way out. They also discovered that Betty was killed with an axe and was stabbed 41 times to be exact, y'all. Police began to think that Alan was sus, as they should, but his alibi checks out. And like the media like went in a frenzy because they're like, there's an axe murderer on the loose. Like, hide your wives, hide your kids, lock them doors because there might be a crazy axe murderer on the loose. So Alan broke the news to Candy, and Candy was like, like, I'll keep your daughter, and she's safe with us until like you want her back. And basically Candy started like crying to Pat, like, my best friend is dead, like this shit is crazy. So the investigators were kind of like starting from like square zero because they're like, Alan is acting suspicious, but his alibi checks out, and like we can't just have like random people just killing people with axes and shit. So they're like, we gotta crack down and question everybody. So on June 15th, investigators interviewed Candy, and Candy told them that she went over to the house that morning and that she was just there to grab Betty's daughter's bathing suit and she left to teach Bible study. Later, the investigators learned that a 5-year-old friend of Betty's daughter went over there to see if her daughter could play when she saw Candy leave the house, and that was around 11 a.m. That means Candy ass was lying. Alan had also admitted to the investigators that he had an affair with Candy a year prior. Candy became their main suspect when she decided not to take the polygraph, and they arrested her ass. And when they was taking her into intake, they discovered that she had cuts on her feet and took pictures for evidence. Do y'all remember that the police discovered like the bloody shoe print and the bloody fingerprint? Yeah, it matched her ass. During her trial in October 30th, 1980, Candy admitted that she killed Betty, but it was in self-defense. Now, who about to believe that bullshit? Be for real. Like, you stabbed this girl 41 times. That is not self-defense. That is actually overkill. Be for real. Candy testified that when she went to Betty's house, the affair with her husband was the last thing on her mind because it was over and she was just going over there to grab Betty's daughter's bathing suit. When she got there, her and Betty did do a little bit of small talk, and Betty blindsides her with this question: Are you having an affair with my husband? Allegedly got an axe and started swinging at Candy and hits Candy's toe with an axe. Allegedly. Be for real. This is on Candy's account. After a tussle and wrestle over the axe, Candy gets the axe and has the upper hand and push Betty down, but Betty keeps coming at her. Candy felt that she didn't have any other choice and just started swinging. Not one, not two, but 41 times. Even when Betty was deceased, Candy kept going. She only stopped because sis got tired. However, the defense called up a psychiatrist on the behalf of Candy, and he claimed that he unlocked a trigger for Candy that caused her to snap. I guess he put her like in a hypnosis. He hypnotized her. Girl, I don't know. I don't care, honestly, because this is bullshit. Like, they could have kept this, honestly. And I guess during like their session, he unlocked that. I guess when her mom got into an argument, her mom put her finger to her lips and shushed her, and that's what caused her to snap. Be so fucking real. Like, is he dead ass? Like, they really could have kept this shit, honestly. He basically said that Candy was triggered and that Betty allegedly did the same thing to her, shush her ass. And in his professional opinion, Candy experienced a disassociate event that their fight put her in a psychological reaction that made Candy unaware of what she was doing and lost herself in a line of rage. If he don't go to hell with this stupid ass bullshit, honestly, like, be fucking for real. You telling me because Betty shushed her She tricked. You know what? Go to hell, because this is the part about to piss y'all off. After 4 hours, the jury found her not guilty. Not guilty. And fast forward to today's time, y'all. She's a fucking therapist. Like, be so for real, y'all. She's a therapist. Pat and her did get a divorce eventually. Like, he did stay with her, like, for a couple years after that, and then finally left her ass. But this is a true story. I'm dead ass. Look it up. I'm for real. But if y'all want to know more, you know, HBO Max just released the show. The show is called Love and Death, and it has like the Olsen's twin sister in it. I believe she played in WandaVision, and you know, I'm gonna go check it out. Moral of the story: don't sleep with your best friend's husband. You know, like that shit foul. Like, you crossed the line, bro. And then what? You killed her. Like, come on, be so for real. And Alan did marry somebody afterwards, like a thirsty woman from the church. It's giving weird. Pat did eventually divorce Candy, but he was, during the trial, he was with his wife. Like, he was her number one supporter, which is crazy. I also think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Betty's parents raised their children pretty much. And yeah, like, this story was so frustrating. And, you know, I feel like, you know, not Betty, girl, Candy deserves like a good backhand slap. You know, that's what I feel. If y'all was curious about what my girl got done today, she just basically got a trim, some layers. She wanted a little bit of a bang, and yeah, it turned out real cute, sleek. Y'all already know that I does this hair shit for real. And yeah, if y'all like this style of like true crime story time, y'all let me know down below, because I do have a story, another story, like, for y'all, and I can't wait to tell it, because like when I was doing research about it, I didn't even know why this movie was based on that, and I thought it would be pretty cool to tell. So yeah, this is the end. The haircut looks good, and yeah, I hope you guys really do enjoy. And yeah, if y'all have any case suggestions, leave them down below. And I will see y'all next time. Okay, bye.